Great to have you here today. Media Day is always an exciting time because it really kind of puts the start to what's going to be happening here in 3 weeks. You know, fall camp, the guys understand that there's work to be done, and as we report, we all have an agenda, we all have the daily itineraries that we need to get through, but this really ramps it up a little bit and puts an awareness to game day is coming at Upper Iowa here September 1. So going into this season, we talk a lot about who we are right now, not about who we have been, but who we are and who we are going forward. The mantra for this football team is it doesn't matter, get better. And we put that sentence on everything that you do. It doesn't matter what happened last year, get better. It doesn't matter what happened last play, get better. Good or bad. And really proud of how our guys have embraced that and made every day a new challenge. You know, you hear that adage of the 1-0. That's really who we need to be and reestablish ourselves in our personal best every week. So couldn't be more well represented in a leadership group than the guys that are sitting with me right now. And they'll get an opportunity to speak with you in a minute here. I've been asked to give an overview for our football team. And I'll start by saying there's been a good chip in our shoulder in this program from the day we assembled in fall camp, and it starts with these guys. They've really set the tone for how we go about our business, how you go about practice, and that those lead to good habits. I'll start off offensively for an overview because we have more returning guys coming back on offense. When you look at it, it's hard to say when you see in the media that 9 returning starters or 8 returning starters. Some of those players may have been 2 or 3 game starters, but it does qualify them for a returning starter. More important to me is returning experience. Whether you played 60 snaps a game or 10 snaps a game, you had some experience in this league, which is critical for success going forward. I look at our offensive side of the ball. I think just like defense, there's going to be a great match of young players that need to rise up and older players that need to play up to their potential. And where that embrace is going to happen is what these three weeks of fall camp are all about. Starting at the quarterback position, because that's going to be the biggest question that everybody asks every day. Phenomenal competition going on. Right now, Kyle Sadler is our #1, and it has gone with every #1 rep to this point. Kyle's being pushed on a daily basis. We have a deep quarterback chart that will continue to shorten as we go through fall camp, but many of those guys are still getting multiple reps to try to prove themselves. Starting with the current #2 right now is Connor Neal. Connor was a freshman that came in at midterm last year, graduated early, and already was in spring ball last year. He's taking the #2 reps right now and doing a really good job learning our offense and getting to the speed of the game, and really glad that he had last spring for him. Add in another couple transfers and a young freshman that come into that boat. Zach Masoli recently joined us this late in the summer, and Zach's from San Francisco City College. Zach's a big arm and really is a polished player. He's come off a medical issue right now and starting to practice more and more and really developing as a player. And he's going to be pushed also during his time and pushing the guys ahead of him, along with Peyton Zabel. Peyton right now is running with that 3 and 4 group as we go through. Peyton is a huge recruit for us and has a wonderful potential going forward. Big frame, big body, big arm. Just has to slow down the game for him. Right now the game's going very fast for him, and that's our goal through fall camp, is to make that happen for him. And then we added also V2 Chilango, who's taking some reps for us as well. So that's our quarterback position, and the competition continues to rise on a daily basis, new challenges. The next most important position to me is our offensive line. As you go in, we have some returning reps and starters in that group from inside out. You look at it, Tom is up here right now as our starting offensive tackle, and Tom was a captain for us last year. Unfortunately, had his knee injury and wasn't able to play last year. Assumed a role right now of leadership, and it's been awesome for him to do that. You go on the other side, and you look at Kyle Stegeman, big 6'8" offensive tackle, who's going to have a great career and continue to get better on a daily basis. Needs to get through an injury bug here a little bit. And then the competition behind them with Connor McPhee and Bryce Woolman and Bryce Baumgars, continue to challenge at the offensive tackle position, and that's not done yet. I think in the next 2 weeks we'll have a solid idea of who those 4 and 5 are going to be running at that spot. In this league, you have to be that way. Moving inside, I think we have great depth at our guard position. Cody Rushes is the veteran coming back from that group. If you remember, Cody started at tackle for us last year. He's a natural guard. We're able to move him back inside. Excited about Cody moving back inside because he's a physical grinder, tough guy. bite, claw, scratch, finish, whatever he's got to do it. So I'm excited about him and his leadership in that role. He'll be challenged by several guys behind him and working with him. Paul Herbis, a senior, that'll continue to grind and give us valuable reps during that process. And then you go on the other side and you look at a guy that, Brett Kramer. You know, Brett Kramer is the lunch pail, we call him. He's literally no center, guard, and tackle, and never complains about a thing. He just gets the job done, and just very, very steady in what he does. I'm looking forward to his leadership. And then also being challenged behind him, we have several guys that I think can compete at that spot as well. And then center, Jake Lucina. You know, Jake is a two-year starter for us now, going into his third year as a starter. And Jake is coming into his own. He put on some good weight this summer. He's stronger, developing his leadership skills, really, really good in that area. And then Jake Russell behind him, who can also play the three interiors from that standpoint as well. So we're excited about that bunch as we go. Moving on from there, tight ends. Tight ends are a position that are very valuable in our offense. We're an 11 personnel football team, sometimes run some 12, 13, maybe even bigger packages when we can. And that group is led by Chet Perenboom. Chet is as good as anybody I've had at that position. He literally has all the skill sets necessary to be a successful tight end. He runs great routes. He has incredible ball skills. He has great feet and movement, and he's big enough now in an off season that he's really committed himself to be stronger and bigger. I'm looking forward to Chet's year. I think he's going to be an all-conference player and an exceptional part of our offense. I look forward to that. Chet will be backed up by several guys in different reps and routes, you know, with our Y off or Y on package. Anthony Carbonation, big kid out of Colorado. Anthony's the long, skinny kid that you guys always see, number 45. Anthony's got a lot of nasty in him, and he's been working really hard. The great thing about Anthony is he's coming out of his shell. You know, he's not that young boy anymore. He's really grown into his own, and that's been showing in his play as well and his leadership. And then we moved Mitch Webster over to the other side from linebacker over to tight end, and Mitch has been doing valuable reps, especially in the wide-off position. Adds great value to us. And then Jacob Cleberiga, right behind him. They're going back and forth for our 3 and 4th tight end spots. Moving out to the exterior, wide receivers, I think, are one of our deepest groups and most talented groups. We have the bigs and the smalls. Literally, we have 6'4", 6'5", 6'4", 6'5" on our outside, and they all can run. Striders, athletic, can get up and get it. Added a couple additions to us. Nickel Meyer, very explosive player from Lincoln High School. Nickel broke his shoulder last year in game 3. Has come back very strong, and I think is going to be a major part of the offense this year and also in our league, be one of the better players. Another player that continues to grow and come on is Brett Shepley. Brett had a good offseason. His leadership is fantastic. Brett's very multiple. He can play inside and outside. Burnsville Jr., that's going to be a really, really good player for us. Then you add in Sean Engel. Sean is a transfer from NDSU this offseason. He came in last winter. Sean, once he's healthy, I think will be a premier wide receiver in this league. He's one of the better wide receivers in the state of Minnesota coming out, and I can't wait for his full development in our program. And then Connor Jackson, a true freshman that played for us last year from Dallas, Texas. Another one of those long guys that continues to grow. One more guy to mention, Denzel Fandungala. Keep your name and eye on him. I think he's an up-and-comer that will continue to challenge for depth and make that position right. Moving to the inside, slot wide receiver position, if you will. You know, we got probably 3 or 4 guys that can win. And it starts with Jake Welshheimer, number 1, who's got multiple reps for us in the past, and everything that he's done in the past needs to improve. He knows that. Has his best practices he's had in our program this fall camp, and I'm really proud of him. He's added more physical play to him. Then behind him, you know, Ryan Schmidt is one of those kids. Drew is, I don't even know how to say it. He comes to work before we do. I mean, he's out on the field ready to go. He's got a little hamstring thing right now, but he's out there ready to go before the coaches are. He is so excited about this season and this football team, and will do anything he's asked in any role. He'll be a major player for us. And then eventually Madden Pecula in that role as well. Gillette, Wyoming kid that I think has had really great explosive plays. Has to come off an injury right now quick, and we'll get him back as quickly as we can. A couple other guys in there will be in the mix as well. Running back. Going in our running back position, we have established guys coming back. Ryan Bradbury had a very good season for us last year when Ryan was healthy. I think he was one of the better backs in our league. Ryan's committed himself to working harder, and I think it's made him even more physical. He's getting into football shape right now, and it's starting to show. He plays behind his pads very well. When he plays a committed game, he is going to be one of the better backs in our league, in my opinion. and he's got a full game. He's got good ball skills as well. Behind him is Rudy Sinflorent, and I say behind him, I should say next to him, because him and Rudy work in tango. I think they're a dynamic duo for each other. Rudy is a downhill guy, a grinder of a running back, a very uplifting teammate, always positive about what he does, and he really brings up our offense. And from Dunlin, Florida, he's got that edge to him a little bit that I want to be great, and he makes everybody else's bar a little bit higher. And then behind him, we got Dominic Novak and Shahan Amin, and we've added a couple freshmen, Braden Peterson, David Ado. That stable is pretty deep, and that's one position that you can play young early if we would need to. If we get banged up, we're ready to go with that spot as well. So that pretty much sums up our offense. I think that we need to have ball control, make sure that we don't give it away. We had too many turnovers last year. That was our Achilles heel. Many injuries on that side of the ball. I can't wait to watch these kids play. Today's practice was our best one yet in our move the ball period. We're starting to get a tempo to what we do. I think it can be an explosive bunch, but I think it's going to be a team that will progress offensively every game that we play this season. That's my expectation, and the leadership is very good on that side of the ball.